Yes, we're there with you again. All right. So over the years, we see a whole heap of nations that never involved in the colonialism of Africa that took place for the past several hundred years. We see France, England, Germany, Portuguese, all of these nations lay claim to parts of Africa. Now we see a new set of people are coming in, which is the Chinese and the Americans. The Americans was there and they used them power, them military power, to wield economical strength over the people of Africa. Now we see the Chinese come in with a different kind of idea. What them do is that them come in Africa with the understanding say, them are going to give you build infrastructures. And in building the infrastructures, you're going to turn over certain things to them. But not only that now, we see the Chinese now have all police force and military forces in Africa. And because Africans is so deprived, I will talk about the leaders, them is so deprived with what them think them going to do in purpose of developing the country or the continent. Them allow the Chinese them. They allow the Chinese them for come in there and do all sort of things. Even take away some of them national assets. You know, on the west coast of Africa, we see them take away a whole heap of the national assets of the African them. We would have hoped, say, since the past leaders, we are talking about in the Lumumba days and in Nkrumah days, they set a trend. These leaders would have really pick up from there, so, but instead, them are reverse. Them are reverse because we see them allow the same French to come in, we see the same British people to come in, and we see the same Portuguese, them for come in there. We always ask the question, why is it that Africans can learn from past experiences? You know, because if you keep repeating the same thing all the while, you're going to get the same result. And if you keep saying that these people is going to help you because them is necessary for your development. And when you look at the people, them getting worse. The people them in Africa is not progressing. What is progressing is the infrastructure that is built up to help the multinational corporations to get a foothold in Africa. We are said to the African leaders, them, it's time them wake up. And we see a little bit of waking up go on, especially with the climate change, where the other day when they have the climate conference, we see a lot of African leaders come together and say they're going to put certain money for really help the climate change. But the problem with that is that them have to understand, say, America and China is the biggest polluter of the atmosphere where we can find now. And they are supposed to be paying reparation money to Africa for developing them country and the continent at large, to really divert the whole heap of climate catastrophe that is taking place. We know that Africa is always in problems with what we call famine and all these things, but now we see a different thing. Now we see famine and flooding. Where there's no sun, there's rain. Where there's no rain, and we see sun. And we can use America as an example. America this year has seen the most fires and the most flooding in them 100 years of history. We in Africa, and as African people, have to really examine how we move forward in this climatical, problematic conditions that take place all over the globe now, and how we are going to set ourselves as African people in this changing world. And we cannot allow a colonialism of the climate to take place, because that is why we see them a race go towards now outer space. I use all sort of money to go outer space that in case them have to go land on the Mars and Moon, and then them continue to destroy the place and make it miserable for human beings to live on, except them. We as African people, the leaders of Africa, and everybody who call themselves Africans, must take part in this re-emergence of the natural outlook of how we as African people didn't know Africa, our land supposed to stay. And we can't afford them to continue to be going in and out of Africa without any consequences, without any retribution, as we would have called it, to them, because they are the ones who is creating the problems in the earth. And they must fix it, and we must demand that them fix it.